There has been some rumblings that Microsoft is looking to bring their exclusive IPs and games to other platforms, such as the Nintendo Switch. Now, there's been some precedent for Microsoft working with Nintendo in the past and going into the future. So we got to talk a little bit more about what does this mean for Nintendo and what could Microsoft bring to Nintendo Switch that would really entice Nintendo players from Microsoft's standpoint. So what's up, Waluigi? Trent from Trentendo here. Today we're going to talk about some of these rumors and speculations that Microsoft looking to bring these games over, and what could we see in one big one could be making some sort of return to home, if you will, on a Nintendo system. So before we hop into that, make sure you hit that subscribe button and like this video so you guys are kept up to date with everything going on here at Trentendo. Let's see if we can't get 20 likes on this. It really does help. I appreciate it. And without further ado, let's hop right in. Now, first up, as I said, there has been some precedent showing that Microsoft is willing to work with Nintendo probably a little bit better, if not a lot better, than they are willing to work with Sony and PlayStation. Now, just looking at the current situation as it stands, we actually have a couple of pretty big gets for Nintendo that would not have been possible without Microsoft in some form. If you look at the Nintendo Switch Online 64, we have a couple of rare games there, which is now falls under Microsoft with GoldenEye, Jet Force Gemini, and none other than the classic Banjo-Kazooie. And we also have, the news that Microsoft is going to be bringing Call of Duty to Nintendo Switch. Contractually, they have to do this. This is not something that, we'd like to do that someday. There's a deal in place that says Microsoft and Activision Blizzard will bring Call of Duty to Nintendo platforms. So, like I said, there's this history that Microsoft and Nintendo play nicely together. And the fact that we got, those three games that I mentioned for Nintendo Switch Online is absolutely huge. Now, in spite of all, and I guess in connection with all of this, we have some rumors that Banjo-Kazooie could be getting a new game. And, this coming out around the same time that we're getting the speculation that Microsoft is looking to bring these new games and these other exclusive titles to other platforms. This bodes very well, in my opinion, for the bear and the bird. So let's talk about this a little bit. What does this mean? I think that Microsoft is at this point, they're more concerned with selling software than they are selling hardware. I think at this point they've become very clear that if they really are looking at putting their games on other systems, their whole goal is to sell software. Now, there's no question that I haven't looked at the numbers to be exactly sure, so someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but Xbox is probably the lower selling of all three major platforms. If you look at the hardware sales, I'm not, like I said, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I'm almost certain that Xbox is the lowest compared to what PlayStation and Nintendo put out there. And that being said, Microsoft, they have other ways people can game. Their big thing is computer gaming and PC gaming, I think, as well. So a lot of these, like Starfield, and some of these other big Microsoft IPs, they're not just worried about selling it on the Xbox. There's going to be PC sales involved as well, which is probably a fairly decent chunk of some of their sales. So if they're wanting to really maximize, the software sales, if you're going to have it on Xbox and PC, you're going to want to put it on those other two systems that have more hardware out there. Now, in this connection with Banjo-Kazooie, I think that Nintendo players have more nostalgia, have more, a childhood connection, or even just more love in general. Even if you're not necessarily, nostalgic for the 90s and the early 2000s with Banjo-Kazooie, you enjoy playing Super Smash Bros. With Banjo-Kazooie. That was probably one of the most hyped reveal trailers I've ever remember ever. Like when people saw Banjo-Kazooie Shadow and the people just start freaking out, and then it kind of trolls up with the duck hunt and everyone starts, oh, you gotta be kidding me, and then Banjo comes flying down from the sky. And then when they announced that Banjo-Kazooie was coming to the Nintendo Switch Online, there's a lot of love for Banjo on Nintendo. Now, if they really want to sell this new Banjo-Kazooie game to the best of their ability, you're going to have to put it on something more than an Xbox and a PC. And what better place than to put it back where Banjo belongs, on a Nintendo platform? So in my opinion, looking at what we're seeing from Microsoft and the reports that they're looking to, bring their games to other systems, and that, Banjo-Kazooie is looking to get sort of a revamp or of a revival, if you will, putting on the Nintendo system, whether that's the Nintendo Switch or the Switch successor, the Nintendo Switch 2, Super Nintendo Switch, whatever it's getting called, I think that is going to be the best way to, one, maximize the software sales for Banjo-Kazooie, but it's also going to generate the most hype around it, because Nintendo fans are going to be the ones that want Banjo back. If you have an Xbox, I do have an Xbox as well. I would still probably pick this up on Nintendo more than I would pick it on an Xbox. Being able to play that game portably is going to be a huge help. But it's to me, Banjo-Kazooie is a Nintendo game. No matter how many games come out for Banjo on an Xbox, Microsoft puts out, and I don't think Nuts and Bolts did very well, partly because it was not on a Nintendo hardware. I think that, I think that game is flawed. I've never actually played it. I've seen playthroughs and stuff like that, and I think that, there's a reason that it wasn't as well received. But I think that it might have been better received on a Nintendo platform, in all honesty. I think if you put the exact same game on the GameCube or the Wii, whatever, I can't remember what year that came out, if we were in the GameCube or the Wii area, whatever the case may be, if it comes out on a Nintendo platform, I think it'll probably sell better, and two, it'll probably be a little bit better received. It might not be, critically acclaimed, but I think people might have enjoyed it more because they had the nostalgia for Banjo-Kazooie. So if they really are able to, put together a really good and a really well done game for a revival for Banjo-Kazooie, I think putting it on the Nintendo Switch or whatever the next platform is for Nintendo is going to be the best way for Microsoft to really maximize those sales and to really boost that IP for them. But I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts down below. What do you think? Is this possible? Do you think Microsoft brings Banjo-Kazooie back in the first place? And if so, what are the odds that it comes back to Nintendo? I think that, like I said, I think Microsoft has shown a very willingness. They're very willing to work with Nintendo. And if they really are truly looking to bring their games to other systems, Banjo-Kazooie on the Nintendo makes the absolute most sense and would be so exciting for so many people. So I'd love to hear your thoughts down below, though. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, like this video on your way out. I really do appreciate it. And I look forward to getting that conversation going with you down below. And until next time, catch you later.